Hello everybody. Well, I thought I would show off my latest creation here. This isn't an original idea. It's actually a takeoff of another fella on YouTube, I think is called Fabman. But I'll post his link to the original to give credit where credit is due because it was really good design. So this, what you're looking at here is my attempt to make a multi-use tool to make a precision chop saw for my metal making projects to both give me both 90 and 45 degree cuts that are accurate. This is version 1 and who knows where version 2 and 3 will eventually evolve to, but I'll give you the tour. So first off, I'm going to show you how I mounted the saw. So what I want you to look at there is there's two 1x1 tubing, and I'll just come in, and this is where I've decided to mount to my saw. As you'll see that I've carefully contoured some tabs to fit into the slots there. Okay. And down below, you will also see another tab there and another tab there. Now, when I first started the project, it was my concern was really about alignment and how to get this thing to cut straight. Well, as it turns out, the alignment piece happens kind of at the end. So the steps that I took is I first fabricated this bracket here all the way down, and I left it long on purpose. Okay, so I put this ear in, welded it here, put this ear in, welded it here, and didn't really pay any particular case other than I tried to keep this distance the same on both of these ones, but ultimately it didn't matter. This one here, same thing. I ran it long off the bottom, made an ear here, put an ear here, and I ran it long to the front because I knew at some point I was going to need a handle. Okay. So then what I did is I fabricated this base here. Okay. And I just had some old 1x1, so I just doubled it up to make it 2x2. And I went and bought some 2x2 for this piece here. So what I did is basically I manufactured this piece here, and then I propped the saw up and had these pieces here come out long. So these ones here were out long here and here. Then what I did is I just welded these cross pieces in to wherever the bracket these long pieces ended up being. Okay. And the intent was to try and get this at a 90-degree angle. But again, it didn't need to be critical. It just needed to be in a rough place. Okay. Then I built this piece here out of 2x2. And then here you will see how I joined them with welded in ears here and a rod welded in ears with a clip, so I can take this apart if need be. Okay. Now what I did do is drilled the holes on very tight tolerances here, and I don't know if I needed to or not, but I wanted to try and keep everything as least amount of play as possible. Fed the rod through and then welded the ears on. And I chose to offset this unit here just because of the way where the blade is and how it's offset on the, I wanted it to stay kind of close to this side, not this side. Okay. So then, very simple frame. Then what I did is came down. Now comes the alignment piece. Now, what I did is I took and assumed that this plate here is 90 degrees to the blade. So what it is, I put a straight edge across and put marks on these brackets to weld in these alignment tabs. This is just angle iron. So now I know, even though you'll notice it's offset here, I needed to make room for this piece when it comes down on an arc to clear the material. So this is actually forward by 1/8 of an inch, okay? But when a piece is sitting here and here, it's 90 degrees to the blade, and I've checked it with a machinist square, okay? That one was quite easy to do. And then I just tacked, welded the plate in, okay? And then I just welded a plate here, so for short pieces, so that when I was cutting, I had something for the short piece to sit on. Otherwise, it would just fall through and I would end up with this, okay? Then what I did is I put in a permanent 45-degree angle. This distance here matches this distance here, so I can get the maximum amount of material onto my area here. Now, because of that, it does limit to how big a piece of material that I can do on a 45. And it seems that, you know, if we look at like a 2-inch piece here, that's pretty much, I might be able to do a 3-inch piece on 45. But once then, what ends up happening is you end up hitting the saw, which comes down to about here, okay? So this angle and this angle is all relative to the saw blade. So I used this 90 degrees and referenced it off of this. The 45 then was referenced off of that. This piece here is a stop so that the saw doesn't come all the way down and hit the ground. It's far enough that it goes past, but it stops right here. This is just a simple lock so that if I want to store the whole unit, I can lift the whole unit up and this piece here won't come falling crashing down on me. Or I can just unlock it and bring it down like that. Okay. Then the other piece that I did was my on-off switch. So just a bit of an angle there, double nutted. And you'll see right here is an angled piece. So then what happens is this slides down. Then when it slides down, it pushes on the trigger here. I may put some rubber or something around this so it won't wear out my trigger. This here, nothing worse than never having the right amount of material underneath to have stands for when you're cutting long pieces of metal. So I made some. So these here are just my stands for when I'm cutting long pieces of metal. And I need to support the metal at both sides. And then I just welded in a ready rod here to keep them attached, because nothing worse than not being able to find your stuff. And you just sit there like that. I'll probably make a nice fancy knob or something out of wood, but for now, it just keeps my my little fans with it. So that is my repurposed Milwaukee chop saw table. It needs a coat of paint, but that's it. And it works like a hot damn. When I did a test cut, my pieces were like 1/2 a degree, if a 1/4 of a degree out of 45. So, yeah. Okay. Happy to answer any questions if people have them. Just leave a message below. But yeah, fairly straightforward project. Really, it was just about developing it as I went, and like I said, I wish it was original, but it's not. Just improved upon. So take care.